Over the last several months, I found myself reading through the book of John each morning, and I've been through it like 3 times in a row. And there was one word that just stood out to me each time that I read it. It was the word believe. I started doing a little research and I discovered why it stood out so much to me. It's because it's in the book of John 84 times. The word believe. I did a little more research and I found out that believe is used more than love, faith, pray, obey, trust, follow, and serve combined. Think about that. All those words combined don't add up to the number of times John uses the word believe. There was one particular verse that really stood out to me. It's in John chapter 6, where Jesus is asked specifically, what must we do to do the work that God requires? And Jesus says the work God requires is to believe in Him, to believe in the one that God has sent, to put your faith and hope and trust to believe in Jesus. This is the work that He requires. Now, I know a lot of times we don't think about belief as being work, but believing can be work for some people. I know for some people it's like believing comes easy, but for others, it's not so easy. They want hard evidence. They want to see and touch and feel. They want more information before they're willing to commit to believing. God understands that. That's why He gives us so much information, so much evidence. That's why He reveals Himself to us over and over again, not only in the scriptures, not only in the past, but also today. He is still at work so that we can still believe. There's a character in the Bible, one of the disciples, Thomas, and he's oftentimes referred to as Doubting Thomas. You see, after the resurrection, when Jesus appeared to the disciples, Thomas wasn't there. He was somewhere else. And when the disciples told Thomas, hey, the Lord is risen, He's come back to life, Thomas said, well, I'm not going to believe until I touch and see. He says, I've got to see, the scars. I got to see the holes and I got to see where the spear went into His side. I want to put my hands on it. And he's called Doubting Thomas, but I think that's a bit of a bad rap. I think Thomas is just one of those guys who's like, hey, I want to experience this. It was going to take a little more work for him. And Jesus is so good. He reveals Himself to Thomas and He goes, okay, here, touch. Go ahead, look at it, touch it, feel it. Now you believe. And Thomas is like, I believe. And Jesus says, well, blessed are those who haven't seen and yet believe. We may not have the exact same experience that Thomas had or the others' disciples had or that Mary had at the tomb. Our experience may be different, but I guarantee you this, God is revealing Himself to you. He is showing Himself to you. He is making known who He is. And so we take the testimony of those who encountered Him. We take the history of the church. We take the New Testament and the scriptures that God has provided for us. And we take all this evidence and then add in just a little work and say, yeah, you know what? I do believe. And because I believe, I will follow. Because I believe, I will trust. Because I believe, I will obey. Because I believe, I will pray. Because I believe, I will serve. You see, all those other words that are so wonderful, they add up and come out of that one word, believe. Do you believe? If you do, live it out. That will be your greatest work.